IRS has identified 4 types of employees under healthcare reform. The first type is full-time employee. This is an employee that you hire with a set schedule to exceed 30 hours per week. Second category of employee is a part-time employee. These are employees that you hire that have a set schedule of less than 30 hours per week. The third category is seasonal. These are your summer interns or project-based employees that come in and work for about 30 to 60, maybe even to 90 days. The fourth category of employees, and the one we're going to focus on today, is a variable hour employee. This is an employee that at the date of hire, you're not sure exactly how many hours they're going to work. You can't even reasonably determine that it will be more than 30 hours per week on average. The reason we're talking about variable hour employees within the nonprofit industry today is because these employees can be pretty common. Oftentimes needs change based on funding from the state or new projects that you're working on. For instance, one of our clients shared with us that they're having to add a billing employee because of the new regulations under managed care. Instead of just billing the state, they now have to bill 6 different MCOs. Because we don't understand how complex that might be or how many hours might be required, this will be a variable hour employee for them. Understanding what type of employee you have working for you is very important under the rules of shared responsibility or healthcare reform. For instance, we know that we have to offer a full-time employee coverage within 90 days. We know that if we have a part-time employee or a seasonal employee, we can exclude them and don't have to offer them coverage. But what about this variable hour employee? Do we have to offer them coverage, and if so, when? In order to understand if we need to offer a variable hour employee coverage and when, we need to look at a timeline. There are 3 pieces to the timeline that we're going to talk about. The first is the measurement period. For existing variable hour employees, this is also known as a look-back period. They've been employed with you, they've been working a schedule. What you're going to do is look back anywhere between 3 and 12 months to find out how many hours that they've been working. Have they averaged more than 30 hours per week or 130 hours per month? Or an even easier figure, if you're using a 1-year block, is have they exceeded 1,560 hours throughout the year? If so, they have qualified under the measurement period and should be offered coverage in the stability period. Once you've determined that your variable hour employee is eligible for benefits, your HR team has a 60 to 90-day window called the administrative period in which to communicate with that employee and offer them coverage, allowing them to enroll. Because you will remeasure this employee's hours each year, it's important to note that that administrative period does run concurrently to next year's measurement period. The third and final piece of the timeline for variable hour employees is the stability period. So you've measured how many hours they've worked, and if they've exceeded 1,560 hours, you've taken the administrative period and you've enrolled them if they so choose. The third piece is that stability period. It simply means that it's a length of time that you must offer them coverage or the ability to stay enrolled. Keep in mind that the stability period has to be at least as long as your measurement period. So if you're using 12 months to measure their hours, they will be eligible for the stability period for 12 months, regardless of if their hours fall short within that stability period. Take a look at this chart. This is a question that we get quite often. I'm a nonprofit agency and I hire a van driver who achieves full-time eligible status within the 2012-2013 measurement period. So, during the stability period, I add him to my plan for the 2013 plan year. But his hours drop and he's only averaging 10 hours per week. Can I drop him from the plan and offer him COBRA? The answer in this case is no. If the employee met the eligibility in the previous measurement period, they must be offered coverage for the entire stability period. Let's take a look at how this works for variable hour new hires. When you hire a new employee and you don't exactly know what their work schedule is going to be, you're going to want to start the measurement period on that first date of hire. The measurement period can be up to 12 months, where again you'll track, did they or didn't they work the 1,560 hours throughout that measurement period in order to qualify for coverage. If you find that your variable hour employee does qualify under the measurement period, coverage must be offered no later than 13 plus a partial month after hire, and that employee will be eligible to participate in your plan for the entire stability period. Let's take a closer look. So for example, you hire a grant writer on February 15, 2013 without a set work schedule. You measure their hours over the first 12 months of employment and find that they do work more than 1,560 hours. As the employer, you must offer them an opportunity to enroll in your group plan no later than April 1st and allow them to participate if they choose for a full 12 months, regardless of their hours worked in 2014. However, if their hours slip throughout 2014, you would then measure that period and offer them COBRA for reduction of hours at the end of that full stability period. In this example, March 31st, 2014. One exception to this rule is that you can cancel an employee for non-payment. If their hours slip and they can't cover the deduction amount, and after offering them an alternative, they're still unable to pay, you can cancel them. All right, let's talk about a couple things to keep in mind. For a variable hour employee that you're paying hourly, all hours of service must be counted. Those days you paid them for vacation, for sick time, for holidays, even for a paid leave of absence such as jury duty or disability, you must count those hours within the measurement period to add up to the 1,560. Another thing to keep in mind, both the IRS and Department of Labor have shared that they will not be patient with employers who claim that they were unable to track these 3 periods because of shortcomings in systems or processes. So it's really important that you do track this, both for existing hires as well as for new hires. All right, are we clear as mud? What we find is that for each agency, it varies. It's a different situation. Call us. We'd love to sit down with you and look at how we could help you to track these variable hour employees and show you one of the tools that we've used.